Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. Huge afternoon of racing Saturday at Monmouth Park. The feature, the Grade 1 United Nations at a mile and 3/8. You can bet that Monmouth card with your own DRF Bets account. If you go to drf.com/bet, you can access $100 in free cash when you sign up for DRF Bets. Here's the field for the Grade 1 UN. Again, we're going 11 furlongs. $300,000 is the purse. A field of 9. Chad Brown has 4 entered, Matt, and we'll begin with the biggest price of the 4, the biggest price in the field. The number 1, Fantastic, at 15-1. I liked what Fantastic did when they stretched him all the way out to a mile and a half last time out. He is stepping way up in class.
Stepping way up in class. I liked how he quickly kicked away from the rest of that field, and I know he swapped leads down the lane, but the big thing that just kind of sticks out to me is how fast and how easy that lead was for him to establish. And I just can't envision a scenario where he gets out to such an easy lead early on in this race on Saturday. I think he might be a decent little horse. Boy, he's going to have to do a lot more if he's going to be successful in a race like this.
He's versatile. He doesn't need the lead to win, and it's unlikely that he'll get it. He draws a good inside post and maybe can tuck in behind the leaders. And he's so lightly raced, I wouldn't be surprised with some upside potential down the road for Fantastic, but it does seem like a tough spot to make his Grade 1 stakes debut. Let's take a look at the Timeform pace projector, because we're supposed to handicap the pace projector, and I think you're going to agree with me that we disagree with the pace projector. They have the 4 Kurilov out there on the lead, another Chad Brown trained runner. But you can't tell me that the 2, One Go, All Go, isn't going to be on the lead. I know he didn't make the front in the Manhattan last time out, but all of his good races are when he establishes command early, and I gotta think that's what Chris Landeros is thinking.
Be absolutely stunned if he's not on the lead. I mean, I think there's a scenario where the Manhattan, you're supposed to draw a line through it because that's not his running style. His running style is forward, up on the lead. And for one reason or another, whether you want to pin the blame on Chris Landeros or you want to say they went a little bit more true early on than maybe anticipated, he just didn't make that position. He didn't get it down on the inside. He had shuffled back in the pocket, which for most horses they would love. One Go, All Go is not that kind of horse. He wants to be out there. I will be absolutely floored if he's not on the front end. And guess what? I think he makes the front, and I think he's dangerous in a race like this.
He is a really underrated little guy for Scooter Dickey, because prior to the Manhattan, 6 consecutive triple-digit Buyers speed figures. Kind of came out of nowhere, including that big win at the Elkhorn at Keeneland when he was able to slow down the pace. Beware this horse if he makes an early lead. So if we worked the pace projector a little bit, we'd have One Go, All Go up front, and then we'd maybe have the dead heat horses from that race at Belmont right in behind. Profiteer and Kurilov, both from Big Barnes, Profiteer from Shug, Kurilov from Chad. They look good in that race, especially considering that Highland Sky, the 3rd place horse, he came back to win with a big 103 Buyer.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is one of those sort of anomalies where that field, there were basically four noses across the wire, and usually we don't look at that as a positive, but like you say, Highland Sky came back and earned that 103 in his next start. I believe he was running with Call of Provision. Profiteer, I've never been a huge fan of, but he could be the prime example of a Shug horse that just continues to get better as he gets older. As far as Kurilov is concerned, I liked him a little bit in that Turf Classic. I wanted to give him a chance because I thought he ran just fine in the Gulfstream Park turf against Heart to Heart, who was loose on the front end. I don't know about you, Dan. I understand he's run well at longer distances. I still kind of feel like he's best between 9 and 10 furlongs. Doesn't mean he can't win at this mile and 3/8, but I just wonder, is this a little bit farther than maybe ideal for him?
That's certainly a fair point. He is at least proven at the graded level. Second, I believe, to Heart to Heart back at Gulfstream when he had the second best trip. Heart to Heart had the best one. I wouldn't be surprised if Kurilov bounces back with a good effort. The 6 is Oscar nominated, and I think this horse on his best day really fits a race like the UN. And last time out, the aforementioned Elkhorn, One Go, All Go was able to establish an easy lead. Oscar nominated tried so hard to rally into that slow pace, and I thought he did well to finish second. That's 3 consecutive 99 Buyer speed figures, 4 of his last 5 at that level. Does he need 100 to win?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of look at that and say, boy, it's hard for me to get past this where a horse he's yet to earn a triple digit. And I think there are a number of horses in this race that are capable of earning 100s. I suppose on the positive side of things, if you're trying to sort of project forward what could come, you brought up the One Go, All Go race from Keeneland in the Elkhorn. The 3rd place finisher, it's in the post. He came back and got back in good form in California with a 100 Buyer. The 4th and 6th place finishers each earned 100s in their next start. So he's at least right there. I mean, I suppose if we're going to split hairs over 1 point, it's probably kind of a moot idea. But I think the idea that he's better underneath. I don't really love him as far as a win contender in these spots.
Bigger Picture pulled off a 10-1 upset in last year's UN, and I think you could argue he's making a class drop. I know he's in a Grade 1 race, but he's not in against High Happy and Sadler's Joy, two of the stalwart horses of the division, and he was against those horses in his last two races. 3 back against a much weaker field with a nice trip. He showed that he's the Bigger Picture of old, a 100 Beyer speed figure. Good tactical speed here. Do you think, though, he's getting a little bit long in the tooth at the age of 7? I mean, he's danced a lot of dances. This is start number 32 for the Millionaire.
I think the thing that really sticks out to me about the 2 most recent starts, he never offered any sort of run, and that is just Bigger Picture. He's usually a horse that at least is going to come with some sort of a bid, sometimes good enough, sometimes it's not. I just kind of feel like these last 2 races, you see him, he's 7 years old now. I wonder if we're starting to go the wrong way as far as form is concerned.
Chad has Silver Wave. This is a group winner in France, so we know he's got a little bit of class. He only has 2 prior starts in North America, one against Chad's Robert Bruce, who might be a really, really nice horse. And then last time out went the beaten favorite behind Profiteer and Kurloff. Could you find an excuse for that race?
No, not especially. I thought it was a disappointing effort. He was bet down to odds of 4 to 5. I thought his Fort Marcy was okay, and when you see the quality of that field, what they returned to do, I don't really want to hold that against him. You brought up that he was a group winner in France. He actually defeated Talismanic, who came back and won the Breeders' Cup Turf last year. So, look, throw out Chad at your own risk, but I guess if I had to make a call on any one of them other than the inside runner, Silver Wave would be the one I would try to beat.
Vittori Kin on the outside, 10-1 on the morning line. Paco Lopez winning at almost a 30% clip at Monmouth. This horse got over the hump last time out in the Grade 3 Louisville, and I think the key was this. They finally gave him an opportunity to stretch all the way out in distance, and this is his game.
Yeah, I mean, look and see what he did in Brazil and Argentina, long-distance races. That's what he was best at, particularly on the turf. He didn't run terribly 2 starts back in that race at a mile on the 16th, but I think the additional distance was really the difference maker. It also doesn't hurt that field in the Louisville handicap was a notch or 2 below what he's going to face on Saturday.
Let's take a look at our top pick for the UN. We've talked about some nice horses, but we haven't talked about the morning line favorite and the horse to beat. That's the Monmouth Loving Money Multiplier. You and I may not be his biggest fans, but boy, I thought he did what he had to do last time out in the Monmouth. He was checked a little bit in the early portion of the race. He got to the outside. He kind of was racing all the way, and he just kept on with a nice, solid effort. And he consistently runs fast enough to win races like this, and he's got a good tactical gear as well.
I agree. You know, you talked about maybe reworking that pace projector a little bit. I think Money Multiplier is going to be pretty close. He won't be contesting the lead, but I think he might be able to get first run on some of these closers coming from off of it. And look, the real question for me was, could he still run coming off of that layoff? They got him back here. He earned that 103 in the Monmouth. I think if he runs his best race, he's got a big chance.
Give me numbers.
In a spot like this, I'm going to go 5, 2, 6, and 3.
I'm going to go 5, 6, and 1. Money Multiplier and the 6 Oscar nominated are going to be my plays in multiple race wagers. Again, if you are playing any of those multiple race wagers or the UN on its own, please consider DRF bets and $100 in free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bets. Approximate post time for the Grade 1 UN at Monmouth, 6:01 Eastern. Good luck.